Good morning, friends, and welcome to Take Two for this Tuesday, the 30th of April, 2019. Wow, can you believe it? We're at the end of another month. Tomorrow we go right into the month of May, and I hope that you are ready for an exciting end of the spring and beginning of summer. Well, I like to share, I am Jeannie, by the way, and I like to share a thought with you today about simultaneous opposite emotions. And you're like, wow, that's a mouthful. So I'll tell you a little story about a friend of mine who, in a couple of years ago, she lost her mom. And when she did, there was quite a bit to unravel as far as her estate goes. So they had a lot of furniture to sell, and she had antiques and all kinds of different things. And a lot of stuff, it went. But it was left, one thing was left for her to have, that she needed to sell, and that was one last item of great value. Now this item, I'm not going to share with you what the item was, but let's just say it was in a 6-digit cost and value. So it could have been a rare coin. It might have been, I don't know, like a fine piece of jewelry, perhaps a great work of art, maybe, or a fine piece of pottery that could be worth a great deal of money, or maybe a rare cup, something like that. But anyway, it was of great value, this item, and it needed to be sold. So when she approached the other two people who would be sharing in the inheritance of this sale of this value of great, this item of great value, she said, okay, it's time to sell it. We've got to let this thing go. Now, there were a lot of emotions, and there were a lot of history and a lot of sentimental value attached with this item of great value. So to let it go was going to be a very, very big thing. So there were two other people, there were three altogether, who were going to be splitting the inheritance of the sale of this item of great value, and so whatever it might have been. And so it was time to sell this thing. So finally it got to the point where the three of them were in agreement. They found someone who wanted to invest in this item and buy it from them. They got a fair price for it. And with the sale of it, there was going to be a lot of other great things, because finally they were going to be able, all of them, to do a lot of things they'd never been able to do before. They were able to possibly buy a new home, or buy a new car, or take that long waited for vacation they wanted to, or do repairs on their home, or anything like that. But in order to have those wonderful things happen in their life, they had to let it go, and they had to let that item of great value be sold, never to be seen by them again. So anyway, the one gal who's an acquaintance of mine, she was sharing this with her cousin and saying, well, I got some news. We finally sold that item, and we got such and such price for it. We give it a great deal. And the person, knowing that everybody in the family and friends, they all knew about this item that needed to be sold. And he said, well, that is very, very exciting and really, really sad. And you say, well, how could that be? How could it be happy and sad at the same time? How could you have two conflicting emotions like that going on at the same time? But I'm sure there's times in our lives where these kinds of things happen all the time. You could be ecstatically happy that something wonderful is happening in your life, but then you can be terribly sad that something is ending. A lot of times you've got to have that ending in order to have that beginning. Like, for example, say you're really, really excited that you've graduated from high school. Yay! And a lot of people are getting ready to do that now. And you're getting ready to go to college 2,000 miles away. Are your parents going to be happy that you graduated high school? Are you going to be happy that you finished and you got honors and you got all this? But are they going to be sad at the same time that you're moving 2,000 miles away from them and starting a new chapter in your life? Sure. You can be happy and sad at the same time. I would encourage you, boys and girls. You can be happy and sad at the same time. And guess what? It's okay. Letting go of that item of value, letting go of that thing that had all kinds of history and memories attached to it, that piece of artwork that might have sat in your home for years and years, and then you discover one day it's worth a tremendous amount of money, and oh my goodness, the things you can do with that cash if you had it. You had that teacup sitting on that shelf all those years, and then you discover it's worth $500,000. Wow, wouldn't that be something? Listen, it's okay to let things go so that you can have an ending and eventually have a new beginning with something else. So I'm going to encourage you, boys and girls, go be a blessing to somebody today. You might end up being the only one who is. And if you know somebody who's had to let something big go, something that not only had great financial value, but also had great sentimental value, but needed to let it go in order to gain something even better, a new beginning, a new chapter, go encourage them and let them know that if that happens and they end up having sadness and happiness going on at the same time, sorrow and joy simultaneously, hey, you know what? It's okay, because guess what? Eventually, the joy is going to win out over the sorrow because you'll be entering that new chapter. Hey, not only do I want you to go be a blessing, but I'm going to encourage you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jeanne Sigler, Jeanne Sigler. Hit that subscribe button. And of course, great programming, great music. And we are running for the next 5 weeks the history of rock and roll between 11 and 1 Central Time. So please tune in. We're taking a short hiatus from lunch break with Big Tom and Jeanne to run this fabulous, wonderful documentary on the history of rock and roll. So please tune into that from 11 to 1 Central. And don't forget, an ending may end, but that means a beginning will start. And it's okay to have some simultaneous opposite emotions. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow for the first day of May. And it's also a hump day. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.